Hello and welcome back to another week of Open Mic Night. So glad you guys made it back this week. This week we are going to be learning how to do everything we possibly can on our mobile devices, taking everything and doing it mobile style. Stick around. Let's have some fun. All right, so like I said, welcome back to Open Mic Night. My name is your host, Mike Weger, and this is the time of the week where I just get to share some time with you guys. We are going to cover a little bit of tech news this week, and we are also going to just teach you guys how to do everything on your mobile devices. So it's a topic that I'm very passionate about and I'm excited about, so I want to share it with you guys. Welcome to all you guys that are in the chat room right now, and welcome to all of you who are watching on WLMNradio.com. I stream exclusively on WLMNradio.com. If you guys haven't checked them out, go over and check them out. I want to thank them a lot for streaming me, and I want to welcome all you listeners out there. So, welcome to the show. I'm excited for this week. I'm really pumped. Last week we had a really fun show. We had a live caller. We have people in the chat room, and I really like having people in the chat room because it just gives me something to feed on. So, if you guys want to, you guys are more than welcome to call into the show anytime. And so that is the number right there. It is 402-413-0067. Don't be afraid to give me a call. And you can interrupt me if I'm in the middle of a story or if I'm doing something. Don't worry about it. Call in. And I want to hear you guys' comments. So if I'm talking about something you guys want to comment on, or if you guys have a question, just go ahead and give me a call, and we'll get you live on the air here. The only thing I do ask is you just keep it family-friendly. This is a family-friendly show, but let's have some fun. So go ahead and call in there. And so let's just kind of jump right into it. So the news segment for today that I want to talk about is all about the iPhone rumors and also Yosemite, which is the new macOS that is going to be coming out. So I've been kind of giving you guys some updates in the past on where we're at with the iPhone. And now we are 2 weeks out from the announcement of the iPhone. September 9th is the announcement date. So we're about 2 weeks out. And so what do I expect to see on that date? So we're getting pretty close. And the rumors are starting to, they're still up in the air. And obviously they're still rumors. But we're starting to get a little more clarity. And so I'm going to give you guys what I think is going to happen on September 9th. Now, before I have told you guys that there were possibly going to be two different screen sizes for the iPhone, a 4.7-inch and a 5.5-inch iPhone. Now, sadly, the rumors are starting to show that we might actually not get the 5.5-inch iPhone. And we might actually, they might not have either stock of it or not stock. They might be running low on the supply to create the screens for those 5.5-inch, or it might not even be an option. We don't even know. And so it looks like we're not going to have a 5.5-inch. Now, that's not to say it's not going to happen, but just as of right now, it looks like either it'll be a delayed product, maybe coming next year, or something like that. I would be very surprised if they did announce a 5.5-inch screen on September 9th and if it was going to be ready to ship within the next 2 weeks. But I do think that the 4.7-inch screen is going to be the new size of the iPhone, and I think that will be available for launch about 10 days after the announcement. And so that is what I am seeing from the iPhone rumors, at least on the screen side. Now, it's not to say that, like I said, I could be wrong, and we could be surprised, and they could have that 5.5-inch iPhone, but all the rumors, all the leaks are starting to show that that's probably not very true. Now, one of the interesting things about the iPhone announcement, though, was over in Taiwan. The way that things go over in Taiwan is that when you register a new product that is going to go on the market, you have to register it with the Taiwan, there's an agency that you register it with, and then they can do an announcement about that new product. Now, the interesting thing is that the announcement from this agency actually came from a Twitter account from the head guy over at that agency, and what he tweeted was that they just approved 2 new iPhone models. Now you might say, okay, 2 new iPhone models, does that mean that we're going to get that 5.5-inch? Now, I don't think so. I think we're going to have maybe another iteration of maybe an iPhone 6C and an iPhone 6S, that sort of thing. Just like on the iPhone 5, we had the 5C, which is the colorful iPhone, and the plastic-backed iPhone. And then we have the iPhone 5S, which is kind of their top-end, higher-end iPhone. And so I think that's what we're going to be seeing with these two new product categories, these two new products that they registered with the Taiwanese agency. But you never know. That could mean that they are going to have a 5.5-inch screen. I just don't think that's true. I don't think that's how it's going to work. I think they're going to have something like the iPhone 5C, just with the iPhone 6 title on it. So that is kind of the iPhone rumors. The screen is really the only thing that's kind of been up for debate. There's a lot of stuff going back and forth, except for the fact that we still do not know if the iPhone is going to include NFC. For those of you guys who don't know what NFC is near field communication, meaning it's kind of a little receiver and a little radio in the back of your phone that's kind of some coiled wire, and it works in really close proximity to other receivers. So you have to get really close to the receiver in order for it to be used. This is used a lot in mobile payments. And Android has had, a lot of their phones have NFC and have had it for a while. And what it allows you to do is to be able to tap certain things and for your phone to interact with different sort of devices by simply tapping your phone to that device. Now, traditionally, Apple has stuck with Bluetooth as their solution to a near-field communication. They say that, iBeacon technology, and with Bluetooth, it's a lot better option and more secure than NFC. But rumors are starting to actually come about that this new iPhone 6 might actually have NFC. Now, this would be an interesting combination because, as you guys know, with the iPhone 5S, they have the fingerprint reader, Touch ID. Now, Touch ID is going to be in the new iPhone 6, and so with this Touch ID, that would make NFC a little bit more secure. If you tapped and then maybe had to hold your finger on the button, it would be convenient and it would be secure. Now, I'm kind of up in the air on whether NFC is going to be included in the iPhone. I think Apple really wants to get into the mobile payments category. Apple wants to be able to use iBeacons and all this stuff. They want to kind of be the hub of how you pay for stuff. If you think about it, if you have an iTunes account, if you have an iPhone, if you have an iTunes account, if you've ever bought anything through the iTunes store, iTunes has your credit card already built in, and we trust them. And so it wouldn't surprise me if Apple said, hey, we've already got all of our users' credit cards. That's not a problem. Now, why don't we be the secure person? Why don't we be the person they trust to do mobile payments? And so the question, though, is how are they going to do this? Are they going to, cave and kind of put NFC into their phones and run it that way? Is it strictly going to be Bluetooth? And is it going to be run on iBeacon technology? We just don't know yet. The one thing about NFC is that it is out there already in the form of mobile payments. iBeacons is still a little new. It was released last September, and so companies haven't had time to implement it, especially into the payment systems at the store. You always see the tap and pay. But so they already have NFC, but a lot of them do not have iBeacons yet. And so it'll be interesting to see where Apple goes with this. I'm sure they have plans in the works. I'm sure they have agreements that we don't know about going into the future, but I'll be really interested to see. That's the one thing, besides the screen size, I will be interested to see on September 9th if they announce NFC in this new iPhone or not. For me, it doesn't really matter. I don't pay for too much stuff with my phone right now. I use a few apps like a Starbucks app and stuff like that to pay, but besides that, I'm still carrying around my credit card. But hey, it would be cool if we didn't have to carry around those credit cards. That would be nice. So you never know. You never know. So the one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, and this isn't an advertisement, but it's something that I've used every single time I've gotten a new phone, and I figured, some of you might not know about it. If you are planning on getting a new phone and you have maybe an old iPhone or an old Android phone or something like that, I would highly suggest going to Gazelle.com, Gazelle.com. Again, this isn't an advertisement or anything. I'm just letting you guys know because I use them every single year. And what they do is you can trade in your phone for cash. And so if you go on to Gazelle.com right now, actually, go sooner than later. Because if you have an iPhone, if you have an old iPhone, for me, I have an iPhone 5. I went there, and they are usually how it works is you say, hey, I have this phone in this condition. How much will you give me for it? And they send you a quote. So they give you a quote right there. Let's say it's $100, just for an example. And they say you have 30 days to accept this and ship us your phone, and we'll ship you $100. So that offer is good for 100 days. You're not locked in, so you can get a quote and not be locked in, but their quote stands for 100 days. Well, with the new iPhone coming out, they've actually extended the date, so it's more than 30 days. You're actually going to be able to wait until October 10th. And so what I do is I always get an offer right away. So I just got an offer on my iPhone 5, And then when the announcement happens, I decide, is the new iPhone something I want or not? If it's not something I want, I keep my iPhone. Gazelle doesn't care. I'm not locked into selling my phone. But if I do want the new iPhone, I had that locked in price for selling my phone back, and it is literally, they give you the shipping label. They will even mail you a box if you want to put it in and ship it back to them really quick. They can send you back a check, or if you actually, I think it's like 5% extra, or they give you a little extra money if you do it in an Amazon gift card. And so I usually just do the check, and it's really quick. It's a really good way to get money for your devices when you're buying a new one. And so I think for this iPhone 5, I was going to get like $110, and that puts me already halfway to an iPhone 6. So it's pretty good, and I'm going to have no use for this iPhone anyway. And so again, that's gazelle.com, GAZELLE.com. So head over there and check them out for selling back old devices. They take iPads, they take other tablets, iPhones, all that sort of stuff. So again, not an advertisement, something I use and something I thought I would tell you while I was talking about the new iPhone rumors. The next tip I have for you, and it kind of goes along with news, we all know that Yosemite is the new Mac operating system that's going to be released this fall. So it's going to accompany iOS 8. It might not be released at the same time, but Yosemite is the new operating system that you guys are going to be running on your Macs. Now, we've heard a lot about all the really cool features of Yosemite. We've heard about the fact that it can talk to your phone, and you can actually answer a phone call that's ringing on your phone on your computer. And you can pick up where you left off on something on your phone on your computer and vice versa. Really, really cool features. That's just some of the features that they have. But along with that feature is, I was wondering, okay, how are they going to go about that? How do they do that handoff feature? And what they use is they use Bluetooth LE, which is Bluetooth Low Energy. Bluetooth 4.0 is what it is. And so I got to thinking, well, I wonder, my old laptop does not have Bluetooth LE. It's back on an old Bluetooth version. It's not 4.0. Will it be able to work? And I did some research, and surprisingly, no. If you have an old laptop or an old Apple device that does not have Bluetooth 4.0 in it, then you just out of the box or right when you install Yosemite, you will not be able to use all those cool features. But there's been some tests, and what they have found is that you can actually go out and get a little Bluetooth 4.0 USB dongle. They're tiny little things. I mean, they're this small, and they plug into your USB slot on your computer, and they're like $15, and it pretty much allows your computer to now have Bluetooth 4.0. There's some settings you got to go into and tell your computer, hey, use this Bluetooth device instead of the built-in one. But I want to let you guys know, if you have an old computer and you want to be able to use all these cool technologies, that you will be able to use them as long as you go out and buy a Bluetooth dongle. And I think $15 is going to be completely worth it. And I'm going to do a review of that later. I'm going to do a review of, because I'm going to test it on my laptop, and I'm going to buy a little Bluetooth dongle and make sure it works. So once Yosemite fully comes out, I will kind of give you guys a rundown on how it works. And so that's, That's what I'll do. I'll give you guys a little update there. Sorry, I got distracted. My phone went off. So anyway, so that is the Yosemite Bluetooth dongle tip I had for you guys. So you can check which Bluetooth version you are running if you go into About This Mac, and I think like more options or something like that. You can check and see which Bluetooth option you have. But I can tell you, if you have, I think it's 2010 or later Macs, they do not have Bluetooth 4.0, and it might even be 2011, but I think it's 2010. I know my 2009 MacBook does not. So that is that, but it's a tip and it's a workaround, and it should work for you guys. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you guys about this week is lynda.com. Lynda.com is a fantastic service. What lynda.com is if you guys want to learn something, if you guys want to learn a new way of doing something, and actually we have a phone call here, and so I am going to stop right now and answer this phone call, and hopefully we can see if we can get him on the line here. 1 second. Hello? Oh, 1 second here. Let me get some settings changed. Hello, can you hear me? Because I cannot hear you. Okay, well, the call failed, so it dropped real quick, so sorry about that interruption. But hey, if you're calling, whoever you are, call back. See if it works. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's not working, but it should work. And I might have just found the culprit of the problem. One of my things was not plugged in. Let's see here. Hello? Oh, I'm still not able to hear you. Let's see here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry about that. I was having some trouble with the settings there.
That's okay. This is Roger again from WLMN Radio. Just wanted to call in. I had a question about the this big update that everybody keeps talking about on the Apple. Is it going to be released now? You're saying what, like in 2 weeks, or?
Are you talking about the new iPhone?
Yeah, I thought it was like some kind of an update or something for the iPhone and the Apple, like the iMacs and that.
Yeah, okay, so there's 2 separate updates coming out. So what's going to happen is that in 2 weeks, they are going to announce the new actual hardware iPhone. And what usually happens is that a little bit later, about a week later, they release their new software for the iPhone that you can put on almost all iPhones. And so what that's called is that's iOS 8. And so iOS 8 is the newest software for the iPhone, and that will come out, I would guess, somewhere between September 10th and September 20th. That's just a guess. They haven't actually told us when the official release is. We just know it's in the fall sometime.
Okay.
And then the second...
but it is definitely going to be coming out for both entities.
Yes. Yes. And so, but for the computer side, if you have a Mac computer, that's something different. That's called Mac OS 10. And so the update, the name they nicknamed the update is called Yosemite. And that is separate from iOS 8. So we actually don't know when Yosemite is coming out. It usually comes around like around the same time, so within a month, I'd say. So, but usually it's October. So I would think that the Yosemite for the computer is going to get their update in October. But again, that's all speculation. We know that it's coming in the fall. If you go to Apple's website, you can see both of the softwares, but you just kind of have to, it just says coming in the fall sometime. They keep us guessing, but that's my guess on when they'll come out.
Okay, and is it going to change like the looks and everything of the machine, or?
Yes, actually, Yosemite for the Mac is kind of a big update in terms of looks and feel. I actually installed the beta on my laptop a while ago and played around with it, and the icons look a little different. It looks, if this makes sense, it's kind of hard to explain, but it looks flatter. It's not as pop-out-ish on the icons. They're very flat, very kind of colorful icons, but that's kind of the big change in looks-wise. They call it flat. They call it kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it looks flatter, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so overall, it's going to fix any issues or errors or anything at all in such, right?
Well, that is the one thing about, so when new upgrades come out, this is kind of a brand new kind of big upgrade for the system. And so usually if on my production machine, on the machine I run all my stuff on that I can't have any problems with, I will leave that on the old system until at least they've worked out some of the bugs in the new system. Because what happens is they release Yosemite, and then about a month later, they'll kind of release another update of Yosemite to kind of fix the bugs that were in the first one. Because it's kind of it's a complete overhaul. And so if you're on Mavericks right now, which is the one that is out right now, that's what I'm on. I'm going to stick on Mavericks on my production machine because I know right now at least all my stuff works. And
yes, see, that's what I'm on now, and I run the server off of that.
Exactly.
And it runs very, very well. I have no issues or anything. The only time really that I have any issues is due to, Mother Nature or like a really bad storm, but a lot of these 80-plus thousand watt, powerhouse stations, they even have troubles as well, too, a lot of times.
Right. And so what I would suggest for you, what I've done in the past is if you have an external hard drive somewhere, a USB hard drive, you can actually install an operating system. You can install Yosemite on that hard drive, and then you can boot to that hard drive for a little bit to test out everything and see if it's going to work without messing up your computer how it is right now. And so it gets a little sticky, a little complicated, but if you want to email me, and for everyone else listening right now, my email is mike@uyghurtech.com, and then I can walk you through that. But what I do is I run, it's called like, a little test environment. So I install the software on an external hard drive that doesn't touch any of the stuff I have running. And then you can boot your computer from that hard drive and just test and see how everything's going to work. And you can see, okay, well, it actually will work all right. And then as soon as you're done, you can boot right back to your normal hard drive and run just as you were.
Well, this isn't going to mess anything up on my machine, though, is it? I mean, it'll keep, I guess what I'm asking is, it'll keep basically everything the way that I have it saved on there now. It's just going to actually change not just the look and feel and such, but it'll also change. It won't change like the way that I have everything set up, correct?
It shouldn't, but what the problems people run into is that the developers for the apps you use. So for me, all my production apps, I use Boinks TV and Wirecast and stuff like that. If those developers haven't updated their app to be completely fine and run well on Yosemite, that's where you start running into problems. The actual operating system on Mac should run fine. You shouldn't have any problems with the day-to-day stuff. But if you start to use an application like Boinks, or when I open this up, I might have problems with that application because the developer hasn't updated it yet. So it's kind of hard to, your computer will run fine, but some of your apps you might have trouble with until those developers get in there and update it. So that is another reason why I stick on the old version for a while, because it gives the developers, it gives all the apps I use time to update and to get on the new system.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I might have to end up getting with you on that, but I do greatly appreciate your information and your education on that, and we'll definitely keep in contact.
Definitely. Thank you for calling, Roger.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, so that was Roger there, and he had some great questions, and that was, I should have gone into more detail, I guess, about those two operating systems and how they work and how upgrades work. On the phones, when you guys are upgrading your phones, usually you shouldn't have any problem. Apps might have a little bit of problem for a little while, but on the iOS side, developers tend to get their updates out pretty quick, and it's not usually a problem. On my phones, I usually install the latest iOS version right away. But like I was telling Roger there on the phone, when you're on your computer, it's not a bad idea to wait. I know it's really hard to not upgrade to the newest, latest, and greatest system right away, but if you need this computer to be functioning 100%, if you rely on this for work or something like that, if it's just a home computer that you dabble on, that's great, and that's a perfect time to install the fresh operating system. But like I said, for my production machines, I'm going to wait a little bit and give the developers a little time to update their apps, give Apple a little time to find the bugs that are in Yosemite, because as well as they do on the first release, because they've had betas of Yosemite out and people have tested it, there's always going to be bugs. There's always going to be things that, once you release this out to millions and millions of people and they install it, then that's when the bugs start to show up. So great question, Roger. Thank you for calling in. And for those of you who want to call in just like Roger did, the number is right there. It's 402-413-0067. And so call in like Roger did. But I'm going to go ahead and keep talking about what I was talking about right before Roger called, and that is lynda.com. If you want to learn how to do something, if you want to learn how to code, if you want to learn how to cook, if you want to learn how to do absolutely anything, I highly encourage you to head on over to lynda.com/WeagerTech, and that's lynda.com/WeagerTech, WIEGER Tech. Give them a shot, because what lynda.com does is they take the best people that know their subject, they know their topic, and they take these experts and they have them record these really high quality tutorial videos to teach you how to do things. Maybe you want to learn how to write an iOS application. Maybe you want to write an app for the phone. Maybe you want to learn how to cook creme brulee. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, more than likely you can find it on lynda.com. They're constantly expanding their library, so they're adding new courses all of the time. But the difference between looking something up maybe here and then maybe on YouTube is that these are actual experts, and they took the time and they put together these courses, and they're just really well done, and you're actually going to learn something. I'm planning on taking a Lynda course maybe for learning Logic or Final Cut. Those are both pro applications on Apple that are video software and audio software, and there are some great courses out there. So if you guys want to give them a shot, if you want to learn something, again, head on over to lynda.com/WeagerTech, and if you go to that URL, you will actually get a 7-day free trial. So 7 days for free, why not? You can go and give them a shot, see if it's something you like. You'll have full access to all of their libraries. So definitely go to that URL, because that'll get you that 7-day free trial, and you can just check them out and see if it's for you. And at the end, if it's not, that's fine. But if at the end you think, oh, this is pretty cool, I kind of want to go for it, then sign up. It's actually really affordable. So that is lynda.com, and I want to thank them for their sponsorship of Open Mic Night. All right, so now we are going to get into the fun subject. And what is the fun subject? The fun subject is how to go mobile. For me, when I started using my iPhone more and more, it was about a year and a half ago that I had the iPhone for a while, but I wasn't really using it to the full potential. And what I found was, and what caused me to do this was because I'm in a lot of different places throughout my day. I'm at school, I'm at work, I'm at my apartment, and I'm driving around all over Omaha. And so I'm rarely sitting down at my desktop computer, actually very rarely. And so I needed to start finding apps, finding ways to do everything I wanted to do on either my iPhone or my iPad. And I think I've done a pretty good job of finding these things right now. And so I think I've kind of found some apps that allow me to do most of what I need to do when I am out and about. And so I'm going to kind of walk you guys through the apps that I use in order to do my day-to-day stuff. So the first kind of topic that I kind of wanted to cover was files. So a lot of us have files, and we have pictures and documents, and we use a bunch of different computers, and we use our iPhones, and none of our files are where we need them when we need them. And so the big problem is, if I need that document of notes that I took in class, but I'm on my phone, obviously I don't have those. Well, my solution, and it's a common solution, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of them, I'm sure a lot of you guys even use them, is Dropbox. So Dropbox is what it is. It's a cloud storage option. And so what you do is you install it on all of your devices. So you install the app on your iPhone and your iPad, and you install the application also on your computer. And so when you install it on your computer, it makes a folder called your Dropbox folder. And within that folder, you can make all the folders, you can throw all the files, everything you want in there. And then what happens is those files are then synced to the cloud. And then any other application that you have installed on any other phone, if you log in with your credentials, you can see and use those apps. And what I like about Dropbox, my favorite thing, is that I can even have two computers running. So like right now, even I have my laptop running right in front of me and I have my iMac. If I were to save a file to my Dropbox folder on my laptop, it would instantly be over on my iMac, almost instantly. I mean, it comes right down. They constantly stay in sync, which is really, really nice. And the other thing I like about it is that it keeps the files actually on your hard drive. They're not only in the cloud, they're on your hard drive and in the cloud. And so it makes it very, very easy to keep all your files in sync no matter what computer you're on. I have Dropbox installed on my work computer. I have it installed on my laptop, my iMac, my iPad, and my iPhone. So no matter where I go, I have the documents I need. Now, the one thing about Dropbox is it does have storage limitations, and so you do pay for more storage. I think you get 2 gigs for free, which is actually really good. So what I do is Dropbox is my solution for only really documents and maybe a few graphics or things that I need for my website or for my videos like this. I don't store all my photos and music in Dropbox because those take up a lot of space. Photos, videos, and music are going to be what takes up most of the space. But with 2 gigs, you can store a ton of Microsoft Word documents, PDFs, and stuff like that. And so what I've done is in my Dropbox are all of my school documents, all of my work documents, things that I just have, but there's not many photos or music in there. I have other solutions to back those up as well. But usually I don't need access to those. And usually actually my phone and my computer can take care of the photos part, with PhotoStream and some other stuff like that. But if you guys are looking for a solution to sync your documents between all your different computers, if you ever get out a USB stick to transfer just a Word document from one computer to another, if you've ever done that, if you've ever emailed any document to yourself, if you're on your computer and you email it to yourself just so you can get on your email on your phone and pull it up, then Dropbox is for you, and you guys need to check it out. Now, I kind of have an outdated Dropbox tutorial video on my YouTube page, but that'll get you the basics of what it is and how to install it. But if you guys have any other questions, just email me, mike@uyghurtech.com, and I can definitely help you guys out. But I did want to show you guys how Dropbox looks on the phone, because it's all about going mobile, right? So let's see if this works here. We're going to pull up the phone. All right, so here it is. So if I scroll over, and I'm going to go to my Dropbox. Now, you can see here are all of my files, and I have a ton of folders in there. I have an entire folder full of law school stuff, just like it's right there. It's law school, and that's everything I've ever had for law school. I have undergraduate folders and stuff like that. And so I keep all my documents in my Dropbox, and then wherever I go on my phone, they're right here. I can scroll through them. I can open them, things like that. Really, really cool. I was going to see if actually I had one that I could open here, but I don't think I have one. open right now. But when you click on these things, you can actually view them. So if it's a document, if it's a picture, you can actually view them. Pictures, you can save down to your camera roll and stuff like that. And the nice thing about having the Dropbox app on your phone is that, let's say you get an email attachment on your phone or something like that, you can open those attachments in Dropbox and it saves them right there. So you can save to Dropbox from your phone too, which is fantastic. You never even have to get on your computer if you don't want to. And then those attachments that you saved to your Dropbox will be on your computer when you get to it. So really cool. So that is the Dropbox application on the phone. So that is my first solution for mobile. My first solution for mobile for file sharing and for file syncing between all your devices is definitely Dropbox. I think it's the best. It's what I use. There are a lot of different options out there. There's Google Drive. There's Microsoft solution, which is, I'm going to forget the name, like OneDrive or something like that. That's an option too. I use Dropbox because I think it's pretty easy. And when you go out on the internet, Dropbox is supported by a lot of different things. And what I mean by that is a lot of apps on the phone, a lot of applications on your computer automatically have Dropbox built in so you can access your files and save to them really easily. And that's why I went with Dropbox. But I've been using it for a couple years now, and I love it. I can't imagine my life without Dropbox. And so like I said, if you are ever transferring files between computers via a USB stick or email, give Dropbox a try and just try the free 2 gig account because I think it'll change your life. I really do. So that's kind of my first mobile solution. My second mobile solution is I always want to be able to take notes. I'm constantly thinking of things, and actually what I use it for is I always have ideas of what I want to talk about on this show when I'm out and about, when I'm at work, when I'm at school, when I'm at the store, when I'm grocery shopping. I think of ideas of like, oh, that'd be a really cool idea to talk about on the show. Now, but the problem I ran into is I would write this down on scratch paper, and then I would lose that paper. Or I would take it on a note on my phone, but then maybe I'd be on my computer and I wouldn't have access to that note or anything like that. So all my syncing notes, I had a really big problem. So I have 2 solutions for you guys for notes. And really the first one is a task manager, really. That's what the app is meant to do. I use it for quick little notes because you can set up lists and stuff like that. So what I'm going to talk to you guys right now is called Wunderlist. That's Wunderlist. And so let me show you here. Let me pull up. Okay. All right, so when you have Wunderlist open, you can see Wunderlist right here. I have my open mic night list. And so you create these lists, and then inside of each list, you can just, tap and you can type different items. And it's really quick. I can add one in right here. Let's say I want to talk about Google. And then I hit add. And then it added Google right to the bottom there. And then as I start to talk about these things, I talked about the Taiwan leak tonight, you can just check them off and they go away. And so it's a great way to just do a simple task manager. But what I like about Wunderlist, the main thing about Wunderlist that I like, is that there is an app for the Mac computer as well and the iPad. And they all stay in sync. And so if I created a list on my phone, if I'm adding these things, if I open it up on my computer, they'll all sync over and they're all right there for me. If you can tell, there's a common theme with me with this going mobile. And what this common theme is you need everything to stay in sync. If you're on mobile, it does you no good if everything doesn't stay in sync. No, because if you have to do something and then you have to email it or you have to, plug it into your computer, that's just... it's clunky and it's awkward. So my overall theme for this kind of going mobile is apps that stay in sync with your computer. And so that's really the best way to go mobile. So that is Wunderlist. And the other great things about Wunderlist is you can actually share lists. And so I don't actually have any shared list. I was going to try and see if I could do it real quick. So you can share certain lists with certain people. So if you want to collaborate, if you're a part of a business, there's kind of a pro upgrade to Wunderlist that you can pay for. It's like a premium service. And you can add in all your employees and you can share different lists. So if you're collaborating with a team member and you guys need this sort of to-do list sort of thing, and you guys can both be checking them off or adding things to it, Wunderlist is very powerful. I use it for very basic stuff. And the reason I use it is because it's free, first of all. It's a free app, and that's my other theme of going mobile is free. If it's free, that's usually what I end up going for. I don't think actually there are any, there's a few on my list that might cost a little money, maybe for the service, but free is always great. And so Wunderlist is free. Give it a check out. Give it a shot. That's Wunderlist, so not WON, Wunderlist. great little to-do manager. If you're in school, during the school year, actually I just started, so I don't have them in here yet, but I have a list for each class, and I have my assignments in there and stuff like that, and you can set reminders, you can do all that sort of stuff. So again, a very powerful application. Give it a shot. It's really cool. And so that is my solution. Wunderlist is my solution for syncing to-dos and stuff like that for basic notes. But the next app I want to talk to you guys about, I'm not going to show it to you guys because I kind of have a lot of stuff in there that's personal and some work stuff in there, but it's called Evernote, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it. If you haven't, just give it a Google. It's been around for a really long time. Evernote is exactly what it says in the title. It stores all your notes, and so it makes notes, and you can type them in, you can put links in there, and you can put images and crazy sort of stuff, and it's basically a really big note application that's really powerful. I have to admit I don't use it all the time, so I don't know all the pro features, but again, it's another app that will sync with your computer. And so if you have Evernote installed on your computer and on your phone and on your iPad, all of those will stay in sync. And so I know a ton of people that use Evernote, and they use it for a lot of different reasons. And again, you can collaborate and share stuff in Evernote. It's just a really good app. So that's another one. If you guys have notes that you want to be syncing between all your devices, check out Evernote. Okay, so now that we've gotten past the note stuff, the number one question I get is, what do you use for music? And the number one reason I get this question is because, one, it's really hard to keep all your music in sync, and two, it takes up a ton of space on the phone. And so people who have maybe the 16 gig iPhone are running out of space because they have a ton of photos and music. And so they say, okay, how do you do your music? And so what I do is I have iTunes Match, and I want to say it's like $20-something a year. I can't remember, $24, $25 a year. And what iTunes Match does, and again, this is if you're on iTunes, if you have your music in iTunes and stuff like that, what it does is it takes all your music and it gives you access to that music wherever you are. You can download it or stream it. So it looks through your library. And actually, the nice part about it is if you have a song that's actually in the iTunes store, it will allow you to listen to probably the higher quality audio that's in the iTunes store. And so you get kind of an upgrade in your quality of your music. And then for any files that aren't on the iTunes store, it uploads that to your cloud. And so what I do is on my phone, I actually don't download any music to my phone. I have zero music stored on my phone. But I can go into my iPod application, or your music app, now they call it, and all my music shows up there, and when I click it, it'll stream it from my cloud. So I have access to my thousands and thousands of songs I have on my computer on the go wherever I need to, because it just streams it. And you can also download it. So if you know you're going to be going on a trip, like on the plane, and you're not going to have internet, you can download it too. So iTunes Match is really powerful, and I think definitely worth the $25 because it saves me a ton of space. But the other thing I was going to show you guys, the other app that I use exclusively for music, and this is the app I use actually every day for my music, and I'm going to pull it up here real quick, is Spotify. And so Spotify is fantastic. What Spotify is, it's pretty much a streaming music service. And you can look up any song, you can add to playlists, and it does cost money. I want to say it's like $10 a month for the premium, which allows you to listen on mobile. It's free on the computer. But again, what it does is Spotify, if you have it installed on your computer and your phone, all your playlists sync over. And you can look up, and a lot of songs are on here. I mean, new releases are always on Spotify. A ton of them are, and stuff like that. But I can show you guys here. So you go to your music section, and I haven't bought any of this music. This is all music that's stored on Spotify. So let's just go to my, country radio songs. And so you can see all these songs here that I have that are stored that are, in the cloud that you can stream. And so again, none of these songs are actually stored on my phone. They're not taking up space. But what you can do with each playlist, and so I kind of just lied to you, because on this playlist in particular, I know that I listen to this playlist all the time. And when I'm driving around, sometimes I get in bad cell areas, so I want to be able to listen to this when I don't have good service. So I want to be able to download this playlist. Well, what you can do is at the very top, if you pay for the premium service, you can check mark the available offline option, and then it does store those songs on your phone physically so you can play them anytime you want. But Spotify, I only do that with one or two playlists, the playlists I listen to the most. So I only have about 100 songs on my phone total, but Spotify is the answer to all my music needs. I use it for everything. I really like it. Again, it is $10 a month. It does cost a little bit of money, but you check it out and see if it's worth it for you. See if it has the music you want and just kind of see that. So iTunes Match, $25 a month, or $25 a year, sorry, not a month, and Spotify are my two solutions to music on my iPhone. And I listen to a lot of music on my iPhone. I listen to mainly Spotify. But if I know I have the song somewhere, if I know I had it in my iTunes, I can always go and access my iCloud iTunes Match account, which is great and fantastic. So that is my mobile solution for music. That is what I do there. Okay, so beyond that, there are a few apps that fill kind of niche areas in my life. So when I started We Your Tech Solutions, when I started billing people for hours, so when I do projects for people and stuff like that, and I need to bill them. And so this is kind of cool because if you guys run your own business, or if you're a one-man show, actually, for Roger that just called in, I know he runs WLMN Radio. Maybe he has people that he's billing. I don't know if he does or not, but if he needs to send out professional-looking bills, and this is going to sound a lot like an ad, but it's not. It's another. I just get really excited about certain apps and services that I find. So it's called FreshBooks, is what it's called. And you can get the app. I installed it and started using it all from my app. I didn't even go on my computer until, a week later. But for FreshBooks, it is a cloud accounting system. And so you can track your time and expenses, and you can then send out professional invoices to your clients via email, or they even snail mail out, your bills if you need to. And so FreshBooks was my mobile solution for how I ran my accounting side of my company. There was a lot. I started thinking, I'm like, do I just want to use Excel sheets? Maybe I want to use Excel sheets, and then I want to, maybe make a Word invoice and stuff like that. But that was way too much work, and it wasn't mobile. And for me, a lot of times when I was in Kansas City, I wanted to be able to track my time and send an invoice from Kansas City when I drove down there to do this work, and I didn't necessarily want to have to do it, go and grab my computer and stuff like that. And so let me just show you around FreshBooks here real quick. And I'm just going to show you the main interface because I don't want to, show you any of my invoices or clients or anything like that. But you can see here that, you have your invoices, you have your time tracking. And so let's say I want to go into time tracking. You can go in and hit a new track, and you can start your timer if you want to use a timer, or you can just edit how much time you did. So if you have to track your time, and if you have clients that you need to bill or anything like that, check out FreshBooks. It changed kind of the way I did all of my accounting stuff. I used to just type it into an Excel sheet, but I started using FreshBooks, and there's a free trial. I want to say it's for 30 days. You kind of saw when I opened it up here that I have 2 days left of my trial. So I'm going to kind of see. I think I'm going to keep going with it. I think it's there's a plan for $20 a month. And so really, as long as you're doing more than $20 a month in sales, it should be worth it, because then everything is also in the cloud. And so if you want to get on your computer and you want to, look at your invoices and do all that stuff, they have all the reports. You just go to the website that they give you, you log in, and all of your stuff is there too. So again, another app that syncs with all your devices because you can always access it on the web. So another one of those apps for me. Now, the next app that I want to tell you guys about, and I'm just kind of barraging you with apps, but I'll put a list of them all in the show notes at the end. So if you come back to this, and I'll have all the apps listed. But the next app that I want to talk to you guys about is, a lot of times I need to get someone gives me a paper document, and I'm on the go. And actually, even in my apartment, I don't have a scanner. I don't have any way of getting that piece of paper into my computer via a scanner. And so, but most of the time, actually, when I get these, I'm actually out and about, and I need to just, get this piece of paper into my digital file somehow. I'm trying to go paperless. It's not going very well, but I'm trying to go all paperless. And so I'm trying to get everything stored on my computer and trying to eliminate as much paper as I can. And let me tell you, there is an app that makes this extremely easy, and it's actually right on your iPhone. And so I'm going to kind of show you guys here. It is called PDF Scan Plus. And so I'm going to put it over here. And so this is PDF Scan Plus. And what you do is, if you want to create a new PDF, what this app does, I guess, is it creates PDFs. And so what you can do is you can open the camera app, and you can take a picture of something, of a piece of paper, and it will create a PDF for you. And so I don't think I have any. Okay. I don't have any that I can show you because they're all personal and they're bills and stuff like that. But another great use for this, like I just said, is scanning bills. If you guys get a lot of paper bills, things like that you want to scan in, you want to get rid of all your paper, it's a great app, because let me tell you why it's great. After you take the picture of the piece of paper. If you guys have ever taken a picture of a piece of paper, you know that it doesn't really look like a PDF. It's all crooked and the color's weird and it looks like you took a picture of a piece of paper. Well, what PDF Scan Plus does is it takes it and it, first of all, crops it. So it auto crops. So when you take a picture, it finds the lines of the paper, crops it, and even rotates it. So if you took it at a little bit of an angle, it'll do its best to kind of make it look flat. And then the next part is it changes the colors to look exactly like if it were typed up on a computer. And so the app is super powerful. And then the next thing it does is it does OCR text scanning. What does that mean? So it means I took a picture of a piece of paper with a bunch of text on it. And what it does is it scans through the image and it finds all of those words and it makes it searchable. Because how many times have you had something in a file and you know that, okay, I had a bill from Comcast for cable, but okay, where are all my Comcast bills? Well, if you OCR'd the page, it has all the text in there, so you could even search for the date and Comcast, and it will know that, hey, that was in this document. And so with PDF Scan Plus, you can take these, you can OCR them, you can get all the text out, it crops it, changes the color, everything like that for you, and then you can upload it to Dropbox, or you can email it, or you can just save it on your phone. And so it's just fantastic for getting any sort of paper into your digital files. So if you guys deal with that a lot, if it's something you guys need, I want to say, it's either like $3 or $5. It did cost a little bit of money, but it worked pretty well. And so I have a question from Roger actually in the chat room that I'm going to answer right now. I'll come back to finish up that talk. But he says, does Apple have a new CDN? And for those you get, he put it in the chat room, but CDN is Content Delivery Network. It's the way that they get out all the information to you guys. So if you guys are downloading an app or a movie or music, that file that you are downloading is stored somewhere. It's stored on servers that you are accessing, and then it's giving at you that file. The reason companies need content delivery networks is because you can't just have these files stored in one building and expect that to be enough for everyone all over the world downloading. So these CDNs have, servers, they have buildings all over the world, and it pretty much delivers the content to the people that are close to them. It's smart. So if I'm closer to this server than that one, it controls how you get access to all of their stuff. That's what a CDN is. And with Apple having a new one, Roger, that's a good question. I have heard rumors about it. They actually were talking about it on a podcast I was listening to, that they are getting into their own content delivery network. They've always kind of had their own, but they're kind of expanding it, is from what I understand. So give me till next week. I will come back to that next week. I'm going to write that down just so I don't forget. I'm going to look that up for you. I don't know the answer right off the top of my head, but I have heard that they're expanding it. And so if you guys have noticed, actually, it's kind of a fun side note on content delivery systems, but for CDNs, for Apple has their own content delivery network. Now, most other companies, if you have a device that accesses data, they have third parties that deliver their content. They don't have their own stuff. Well, Apple holds that tightly. They have their own content delivery network. Well, they actually did some studies, and if you watch Netflix or if you watch anything, if you download stuff from an Apple device, like on the Apple TV, they say the Apple TV is actually the best device to watch all of those streams on. So if you have, Netflix, Hulu, all of those, the Apple TV is the best device to watch it on because it goes through Apple's own content delivery network that's extremely fast, and Apple controls it. And so you're not throttled down by the content delivery network like you might be in a different situation. And so great question, Roger. And like I said, I'll get back to you, but that gives us a great chance to actually, teach the people what a content delivery network is. So it's a CDN. So now if you guys hear CDN, you know what that is, Content Delivery Network. And it's when they kind of divide out and they have a bunch of different places where all their data is stored so that you can have access to it extremely fast wherever you are. And so I will get back to you, Roger, next week on if that is true or not. And so what was I talking about before? Okay, PDF Scan Plus. That basically it OCRs text and it crops it all for you and it uploads it to your digital file, which is fantastic. Really, really cool stuff. A lot of fun. Oh, man. Okay, so there was one more app, and I talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I got a really positive feedback in the reviews, but I wanted to show you guys how it works. And so this is the app, and it's my favorite mobile app on my phone right now. So I saved the best for last, and I think you guys will actually use this. If you guys have multiple social media accounts, so if you have Facebook, Twitter, maybe Google+, that Instagram, that sort of stuff, if you have a bunch of different accounts, and if you ever find yourself posting the same thing to all the different accounts, like when I announced that this show was starting, when I go live, originally I would have had to log into Facebook, put the message out there, and then do it on Twitter, and then do it on Google+. Well, I found an app, and it is called EveryPost. Yes, EveryPost, EVERY post. And what it does is it allows you to post to all those different sites all at once. So let me show it to you guys here real quick. So it's down this corner here. And so you guys can add in photos, text, and stuff like that. So if I were to type something like this is a test. Now I'm not going to send this, but if I wanted to, if up in the top right-hand corner here, you take this and you actually swipe to the right. And up top, you can click which services you want to go to. So I've signed in all my services, so I can click them on and off. So let's say I want to go to just Facebook and Twitter, you can do that. Or if I want to go all three, you tap there. And then you slide to the right, and it posts to all three at once. And it's such a simple idea, such a simple concept. Oh, man, but it changed my life, and I love it. It really made things easy for me. So like I said, if you guys use multiple social media accounts, definitely check in to EveryPost, EVERY post. And again, I'll have all these listed below. I don't have them right now in the description, but I will put them in there. But the next thing that's nice about EveryPost is what I do is, so I need this post to go out right at 7 o'clock. Right when I go live, I want this to post out to my social media accounts. But obviously, right at 7 o'clock, I'm frantically setting up all of my computer and audio and all that stuff to make sure I can go live right at 7. Well, what you can do is you can actually go to the left here, and you can set when you want it to post. So if I say, today at 8 p.m., then if I clicked schedule, that scheduled alert would go out there. Now, the one thing I did find about this is you do need to keep the app running in the background. And so I'm going to discard this. So you know how if you open up your apps and you swipe them up, that completely closes the app? You can't do that with EveryPost if you have a scheduled post, or else it won't go out. So I did learn that. But it's fantastic because if you guys, or maybe you want to send out posts at a scheduled time, if you want to be regular, a lot of companies nowadays are starting to research into social media, and they say that constant posts at the same time every day really increases engagement because people can expect it. If you tweet at noon every day about a new special, if you're a company or something like that, and people can come to expect it, it really increases engagement. And so a great app to use, a lot of fun too, and really easy to schedule posts, and it's free. EveryPost is free. So another one of my themes of being free, which is fantastic. And so, I'm trying to think if there's any more. I had a list right here in front of me, and now I'm starting to second guess myself on if there's any other mobile apps that stay in sync with everything else. But the one other one I use is if you guys ever do any sort of video calling or stuff like that. It's a simple one. It's a common one. It's Skype. But I found that I really like the Skype experience on my phone, especially because the people that I Skype with, we don't do it via video. We do it via audio. And so it's just like normal when I'm on the phone with Skype, though. And I'm on Wi-Fi, and so it's not eating any of my data. But if I do need to leave my place, I can be out and about. And I have Sprint, so I have unlimited data. So it doesn't really affect me there if I use some of that data for Skype. But another mobile option to stay in touch with people and stuff like that on the go. So that is going to wrap it up for the mobile section of my show. I really kind of hope you guys liked it. It was a slow news week. August is the worst time for tech news because it is right before all the big announcements, and even all the rumors start to slow down because we've already seen them all. We've already had all the rumors. So August has been a really, really slow news week. So I kind of want to just give you guys kind of a segment for mobile. And so I hope I answered you guys' questions and stuff like that. And there is another, I'm going to answer some of the questions in the chat room real quick. Let's see here. And also new update, HP has just announced recall on power cords. They are catching fire. So Roger in the chat room is giving me some great information to talk about right now. And okay, so there's a link in the chat room. So if you guys are in the chat room, you can go and then click that link. But actually, I'm going to copy and paste it here, Roger. Let's see if I can copy that. Copy link. Okay. So I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to put it in the description because we talked about it, because he linked to an ABC News article. But what he said is HP is actually recalling power cords because they're catching fire. And this is actually not as uncommon as you guys would think. Power sources obviously put off a lot of heat and stuff like that. And if they're not built to code, if they're not built to spec, a lot of them do catch fire. And that's really funny that this came up tonight because I just watched a video about if you guys have Dynex brand iPhone cords, be careful about those. They're the bright colored ones. So Dynex makes I think neon green and orange and stuff like that iPhone power charging cords, and be careful because those have been actually catching fire as well. And so thank you, Roger, for telling me about the HP power cord thing. So for that update right there. So if you guys have HP power cords, go and just Google right now, basically HP power cord recall, and see if you have one of those bad chargers. HP is a very common brand, so I know a lot of you have those laptops or desktops or anything like that. And just be sure to check, be safe, and check and make sure your cord is not recalled. But yeah, and also, so like I said, check if you guys have Dynex brand iPhone chargers. And that's one thing I kind of want to talk to you guys about too, real quick while I'm doing it. We have time, why not? When you guys are buying Apple power accessories, I'm going to say Apple because, I'm just going to stick with them, but I have to say that buying actual certified iPhone power cords and adapters makes a huge difference on your battery and your iPhone. I know that for a while I was using one of those cheap $3 kind of cigarette lighter USB chargers for my phone, and I had, bought it at the gas station. I used it, and that battery actually would start to my phone would just turn off at 30%. The battery was so sporadic because those aren't quality power components. And so when you guys are buying power bricks that plug into the wall or USB adapters, make sure they're Apple certified. It'll say it actually on the box. One place to get really, really affordable power cords that are actually certified is monoprice.com. monoprice.com. If you guys see, the black cord I'm using here actually is a Monoprice. The power brick I use is Monoprice. I buy all of my power supplies through monoprice.com, and they're really affordable, and they're actually Apple certified too. So just make sure you're using Apple certified stuff because it actually will affect your battery. And please, please, please try, if you're going to use one of those car chargers that plugs in your cigarette lighter, buy a quality one. I think Griffin makes one, or there's a few of them out there that cost a little bit more money, but it really will affect your battery life if you use bad power bricks or bad power chargers. And so that's going to wrap it up for this week on Open Mic Night. I want to thank everyone that was in the chat room. I want to thank Roger for calling in. And so for next week, hopefully we'll have some more people call in. I know it's hard, and actually I just realized that my number wasn't up there for the second half of the show once I took it off, so I'll be sure to take care of that next week. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys want to see all of my other open mic nights, head on over to WegerTech.com. There I have all of my old videos, all my old open mic nights. I also have all my old tutorials and some blog posts. I have a contact me form, so if you're trying to get in contact with me, my email is mike@wegertech.com. But Twitter is also another great way to get a hold of me. I've been using Twitter a lot lately, and that's @WegerTech. I'm going to put that up there real quick because it went away really fast. @WegerTech, WIEGER Tech. Tweet at me with your questions. Email me your questions. But most of all, come back next week at 7 p.m., if you guys can, on 7 p.m. Central Time in the U.S. on Tuesday nights. I'm live at WegerTech.com/live, and that is a lot of fun because you guys can get in the chat room and you guys can, call in if you want to and ask me questions, and I love having people in the chat room and on call. It makes it a lot of fun, and it makes it, more enjoyable for you guys, I think, and more enjoyable for me as well. And so that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out that sponsor, again, lynda.com/WegerTech. I want to thank them for their support. I also want to thank Audible.com. They are another sponsor of the show. Thank you to all of you guys who support me. It's fantastic. I love it. But until I see you guys next week, tech on.